In this video, I thought we would take a look at a real-world problem and the solution to that problem. Now, this was a logo that was sent to me recently, and the customer wanted this logo for a rhinestone decal. The challenge with this logo is the amount of detail within the logo, and obviously when we're dealing with a rhinestone decal, there is a certain size limit that is reasonable. So the customer says, well, because it's a decal, we don't want the design really any wider than 8 inches, and 8 inches is even a little silly for a rhinestone decal. So if we could make it smaller than 8 inches, that would be preferred. So this was the original artwork here, as you can see. And so what the customer wanted is to get rid of 2013 and just have, instead of cheer clinic, they just wanted cheer leader. So that's what we attempted to do here in the decal. Now you can see that this decal is already 7¼ inches wide, and everything looks pretty good except for cheerleader. We cannot make that out. And it's not because we did a lousy job with our design work, it's just is what it is. It's not enough area to make that legible with that particular font. So the next thing would be obviously is to make the design bigger. But I already know that even if we made the design a full 8 inches, which was the maximum width the customer suggested, even with that extra 3/4 of an inch in width, that still would not be legible. So what's the next option? Well, the next option is what we did. And it actually is going to make the design super cool. Don't be afraid to do this. Don't take my word for it. Try it. You're going to love it. All right. So what we did here is we took everything as stones except cheerleader. And with cheerleader, we're actually going to cut this out of a heat press vinyl material, and we're going to apply that vinyl material at the same time we apply the stones to our clear decal material. If you've never tried taking heat press vinyl and adhering it to the clear decal material, just try it. It works, and it works fine, and it really shouldn't matter what brand of rhinestone decal material you're using. You should work just fine for you. So we could cut out cheerleader out of regular heat press vinyl, just solid colors. We could use one of the metallic colors. They even make the heat press vinyl now in different patterns like zebra pattern and other types of printed patterns. Certainly we could cut this out of glitter material. We have a lot of options. The advantage here is because of the type of font that we're using, the advantage here obviously is going to be a lot more legible. And again, that heat press vinyl material adheres just fine to the clear decal material, so it's going to work perfect. And if you think about what we would typically use heat press vinyl material for, we would put it on a garment. That garment would then be washed and dried and worn. So imagine, if you will, if this decal's outside, it's going to get hot, it's going to get cold, it's going to get wet, and the same as your t-shirts, right? So when you go outside in the wintertime, you have your t-shirt on, it's going to get cold, it's going to get wet, it's going to get hot. So it doesn't really matter if it's out sticking on the side of your car window or in your dryer, in your wash machine, it's going to be fine. It's going to work for you. I have lots of decals that I've done with heat press and rhinestones, and it works just fine. So give it a try. All right, so what we're going to do in this video demonstration is we're going to show you how to use the tools in CorelDRAW to create this cheerleader with the athletic tail. Now the thing that's cool about this too is, think about this. Yes, we're creating cheerleader with the athletic tail for this particular decal, right? But if we extract the cheerleader with the athletic tail, we can also put it on a t-shirt, a sweatshirt, whatever we want to. So that's the kind of the cool part, is we're designing for the decal, and then we have some artwork that we can use for another purpose as well. All right, so with that all said, let's dive in, show you how these tools in CorelDRAW is going to allow us to create this very, very quickly and easily. So let's go back up here to this design, and we're going to select this. We're going to duplicate it. And once it's duplicated, we're going to right click on it and choose group, and then right click on it and choose lock. So we're going to actually draw right on the top of this, but we can't accidentally move this. So we're going to use that 3-point curve tool, and we're just going to dive in here. So we're just going to click, drag to that second point. If we want to simplify this a bit, we can go to the View menu and turn off the Snap to Objects option. That's where you would access it there. We also have the little icon here to turn Snap to Objects on and off. And that might be useful for us. So we'll go ahead and create this athletic tail. We're just kind of generically following that existing geometry, right? So again, we're just going to create this. And then what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to cap this off. If we switch to our shape tool, see this right here? It says close curve. Right now it's open. We hit close, and it'll just draw a little line and close that. And so now if we fill that, you can see we can fill it in with color. And then from there, what I would probably do is fine tune it. If I think something's out of place, I'll go ahead and fine tune it. I'm looking at the spacing here. I might want to see this have a bit more curve to it. Okay, and I like this spacing along this curve. You know, if we want to increase it, make small changes, we're able to make those small changes using these control handles. So that takes care of the initial athletic tail. So the next thing we're going to do is the cheerleader part of this. We're going to grab our text tool. We're going to type out the word C, and I'm going to click another spot and type out cheerleader, the rest of it. All right. We're going to select both of these using the same font. We're going to use that brush script font, very popular font. And let's start here with our C. So what I did was I just drag it up here, changed the color to white, and I made it a little bit bigger. That's a little bit too big. Got a little too crazy there. So we'll make it a little bit smaller there. Okay, so we can, you know, make whatever changes we want. We can stretch it out, whatever you want to do there. If we want to rotate it a bit, we could do that. You have quite a bit of flexibility there. So let's just kind of get our C into place where we want it, and I'm happy with that. So now what we need to do is kind of connect our C to our tail. All right, so the way we're going to do that is grab our 3-point curve tool again, and we're just going to kind of pick up where we left off here on our tail. And remember, Snap to Objects is turned off. So I'm just kind of doing this a bit willy-nilly, just eyeball it, because we just need to extend our tail just a little bit. Okay? Again, we're just eyeballing things. There's no real right or wrong here. And we're going to close that little section off. So again, if we give that a fill, you can see that is now filled in. So now we have 3 pieces. So we're going to select our original tail, hold the Shift key down, select our little add-on piece, select our C, and then come right up here and choose the weld option. Because the C was the last piece that we selected, notice how the rest of our pieces all changed to white. Now obviously we have some editing to do here on our letter C here. So we'll go back to our shape tool here and just delete these extra nodes that we don't need. Okay, so we got this little thing here. What I would do is probably right click on the edge and choose to line and just create a straight line, and then start deleting some of these extra nodes that we created. Now we don't want to do too much, because now you can see we've actually changed our tail. So now what we'd have to do is come back in here, select a node, and then we have these control handles to fine tune our tail again. And same thing down here, if we want to make a change, that looks pretty good. So there is our C. Now I'm not real happy with this transition right here, so we just kind of finesse this a little bit if you want to. I'm going to add a node on either side of the node that I'm not happy with, or nodes, and I just would like that a little bit smoother. And now, yes, I do like that a little bit better. It's just a small change there, but sometimes it's just I don't know, I get too picky. But I actually do like that transition a lot better. Alright, so that takes care of our first piece. Now the next piece here is obviously our cheerleader piece. So we'll go ahead and make it white. And what I would do is just manually make it about as big as we want. Something about like so. Now for this, we're going to do something different. We're going to apply what they call an envelope. And we have that tool for us on our custom toolbar right over here, which is this weird looking tool right here is our envelope tool. And you can see here, if you look closely, there's a node right there and a node at the end, one in the middle, one at each end. Okay, so we're going to pull this node down and you can see what it does. And then if we pull this node down, you can see what it does. What I would do is delete the middle ones. So delete that one, delete this one, delete this one, and we're going to delete this one. So now we're just going to kind of fine-tune things a little bit. You have these little control handles where we can fine-tune how this all works together. You see that there? So it's pretty straightforward. And you just kind of tweak this, pull, jab, twist, bend, whatever we want to do there, just to get this exactly. Oops, I accidentally deleted a node there by double-clicking on it. Didn't want to do that. We get these control handles again. So get it however you like it. Okay? Just make whatever changes you need to make there to make that how you like it. So now once we've done that, let's hop over here to wireframe mode and we can kind of see how this is all going to work a little bit better. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this object that we locked and unlock it. So I just right click on it, choose unlock, and then right click on it and ungroup. Okay? Now the weed box, this black weed box around the design, right click and lock it. So we're not going to move the weed box, but we are going to adjust these stones inside. We're going to use this freehand pick tool here, and we're going to get rid of, actually I tell you what, let's lock this decal cut line down too, because it wants to move. So we'll lock it down. Now we should be able to just adjust the stones. So with that freehand pick tool here in CorelDRAW X6, I'm just going to come around and start deleting the stones in our athletic tail. We don't need those anymore. And also, we're going to delete the stones of our text. So you can see this cheerleader part, we don't need it anymore. So we draw an outline around, and then CorelDRAW will pick up all those stones within the outline. Okay, now right here, there's a few stones here. Let's just come in here. There's a couple of stones that will interfere with our athletic tail here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this one here, and we're going to shift select this one here, and we're going to group those two together because we want to apply a contour to the group. So here's our interactive contour tool. We just click and drag, and you can see that contour line that we created? We're going to right click on our contour. So we'll switch back over here. Break contour group apart, and then we can use that contour that we just created, holding our shift key and our athletic tail, and use this option, which is the trim option, to trim our athletic tail. And then we can delete. So you can see how we just kind of trim that out. Now this little piece here, I'm just going to delete it. Okay, so that takes care of that side. Well, let's see here. I actually had to back up because I deleted my cheerleader text, which I didn't intend to do. So let's back up a little bit. There's our cheerleader text. Sorry about that. So let's go ahead. See, it's easy to make mistakes. Happens all the time. So we'll go ahead and delete the stones within that cheerleader text. There we go. But we want to leave the rest of it. Okay, so it's a good lesson learned there. Good thing I caught it when I did. So you can see we're just kind of going around those stones, selecting them, and then simply hitting the delete key to get rid of them. Alright, so now we'll go back to our contour here. So we'll select these two, group them together, right, and then the interactive contour. Give it a little bit of contour. We're going to switch to our pick tool. Right click, break contour group apart. Now we'll select our contour group, shift select our athletic tail, use that trim option, and that will trim our athletic tail back. And this little piece, I'm just going to double click on it, select it, and hit the delete key on the keyboard. Let's go back to enhance mode here, and I can see that a little bit better there. See how that athletic tail just kind of wraps around those rhinestones there. Now back over here, let's go back to the wireframe mode. Again, we have to go ahead and delete a few stones here. So we'll go back to our freehand pick tool, and we're going to delete the stones just like so. Delete those, and then we have this one down here that we want to delete. Now these stones here make up part of the pom-pom. So what we're going to do here is we're going to select, shift select the other ones. Let's go ahead and get this one too. Group all of those together, and then use that interactive contour to create a contour. There we go. Decide how much contour we want. Once we're happy with that, we're just going to right click, break contour group apart, select the contour, and our C here, use that trim option, and there we go. Okay, so I like that right there. Go back to enhance mode, and now we can see how the C, those stones are going to wrap right around, those stones are going to wrap right around here as well. Now, there is a bit more work to do in the word cheerleader. Let's look at that. In wireframe mode, see how all these lines right here? Your cutter would cut all of those lines. And obviously, we don't want that. So we have to fix that. So what we're going to do here, I'm going to go back to enhance mode. We're going to select that part of the text. We're going to right click and choose the, let's see here, where is it at here? Alright, what do we got? Okay, so we have an envelope applied to it. Alright, so I didn't see what I expected to see. So we're going to click on the envelope here, and we're going to convert to curves first. That gets rid of the envelope, sets the envelope in place. Then we're going to right click and we're going to choose break curve apart. Now you see how like these pieces of the E appear, and the A and the D appear to all have disappeared? They didn't disappear. They're still there. If we go into wireframe mode, we can see them. So what we're going to do is select like the piece of the E and the other piece of the E by holding the shift key down, and we're going to choose the combine option. Now if we go back to enhance mode, now you can see it a little bit better. So select the inside and the outside, combine. Same thing here. I think there's a piece here for the L and the L, combine. The E and the big piece of the E, combine. The A and the big piece of the A, combine. And the D and the big piece of the D, combine. And lastly the E and the big piece of the E, and combine. Now here's the challenge. If we go back to wireframe mode, see those lines? They're still there, exactly as they were. So, but that's okay. We're going to use the freehand pick tool to come around and select all the bits of our text. So now that they're all selected, now what we're going to do is we're going to weld all those pieces together. And then you're going to see that those lines disappear. So when we choose weld, see how all those lines disappear? So now your cutter is going to cut this as one piece, and we're going to have to weed out these little pieces of the E and the L and the D, but it's going to cut perfectly. Go back to enhance mode. So you can see we have a really cool design, and what we could do, just like I was talking about before, is we can extrapolate this piece of the design. Let's go ahead and give it a different color, and all we really have to do is go back into that shape edit tool and just make a little edit here. So let me just show you how to do that quickly. I'm just going to right click and choose to line, and then right click and choose to curve, and all I would do here is go ahead and make this edit. So we'll go ahead and maybe I'll just delete. Well, see, we don't want to delete that curve. So we'll come in here, we'll position this where we want it. I'm going to change this to a cusp, and what that does is it allows us to adjust each side of the curve independently. So we'll delete that, and we'll get this control handle going, and there's that piece, and you can see, so now we have a nice sharp corner there. So that takes care of that. And then obviously we have some work over here to do. So again, I would just come in here and delete those nodes that we don't need. Go ahead and hit delete. And then I would just, it's already set to a curve, so we should be able to control this pretty easily and adjust accordingly. And we're just going to get it close initially. Okay, and once it's close, then we should be able to delete a node and it kind of smooth things out a little bit. And there you have that design. So now we could cut this out and put it on a shirt, and we'd have a great looking design for cheerleader out of our heat press or glitter material or whatever we want to do. In fact, if we want to, what I would probably do is I'd probably cut this back a little bit. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's right click on these, change to a cusp, change to a cusp, grab those control handles, and then we can kind of fine tune exactly how much of an athletic tail we want to go with. I think that looks a little bit better instead of having all that extra tail over there. So there is a nice heat press design for cheerleader. Now what we could do, we could even add an outline to it. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's go ahead and go into our outline pen here, and let's apply, I don't know, let's apply a 3-point outline. We'll do black. That's a bit too much. But actually what we can do here is come into our outline pen again, and let's do this. Behind fill. And you can see that's the look that we're going for right there, but we want it a little bit thicker. So a little bit thicker than 3 points. Let's try 4. That's pretty good, but I want it a tiny bit thicker. 8's going to be too much. You can see what 8's going to look like, and that's going to be too much. So we definitely don't want 8. But let's try opening up the outline pen, and let's try 5. And that's pretty good. It's pretty good. You can see right here, we don't have a nice sharp corner, so we can fix that too. Go back into our outline pen here, and this angle, let's make it like, I don't know, 20. Sometimes if you adjust the angle up or down, we can affect that change. So let's make this, I don't know, let's try 90. And sometimes it never works. So yeah, we're actually going backwards. I can see that. So let's go back to, oh, I don't know, let's go back to 10 degree angle. Let's see what that looks like. There we go. We have to just refresh the screen a bit. So now you can see those angles are nice and sharp. Okay, and see these little areas of white there? We want to get rid of that. So what I would do is probably make our angle, our outline just a touch more. Let's see if 6 points gets rid of those. And it got rid of most of them. So let's go one more point. Let's try 6.5. That looks pretty good. Still looks pretty good. So what I would do here is go ahead and make this 6.5 as well, because right now it's 5 points. And you know what? I'll tell you what. Heck with it. I'm going to make it a little bit thicker. I'm going to make it 7 points. What I wanted to see right here is get rid of this. So I think that actually looks pretty good. So even though, let's just make that 7 points as well. There we go. So now what I'll do here is I'm going to take this outline, Shift Control Q. What that does is actually converts outline to object, and we actually have a button for that too right here. So on our big C here, You see that right there? Convert outline to object. Does the exact same thing. And what I would probably do for this design, I would take this and see right here where the D and the E are touching. I want this to touch as well. So I just make, and we could just rotate this ever so slightly. And again, select the whole thing and move it down just a touch. And that is going to be a pretty slick design. Now, if we go to wireframe mode here, see all those lines? It's kind of drive you a bit batty. So what we're going to do here is we're just going to take this black outline and right click and choose break curve apart. And we're going to do the exact same thing here for the cheerleader. Right click and choose break curve apart. Now you didn't really see too much happen there, but something actually did happen. So what we're going to do is select the outline of the C, shift select the outline of cheerleader, and we're going to weld those two together. Okay, we are going to do shift page down to push it down to the bottom, and everything else can be deleted. If we go back to wireframe mode, you're going to see all kinds of junk, but we're just going to come in here with a big swooping arrow, and we're going to delete a lot of that stuff. So go ahead and select that, hit delete, and anything that's loose, it just got rid of. So we'll select half the design and delete, and this right here we don't actually need, and this, let's see, no, actually that one we do need. It's this one we don't need. There we go. So now if we go back into enhance mode, we'll see this a little bit better. So we have one piece here for our t-shirt. That's going to be cut out of solid black. And then this design here, the purple part, we're going to go ahead and combine it. And so that's going to be one piece, and then this obviously is going to sit right on top and give us our finished cheerleader design. So we went off the rails a little bit in this example, but I wanted you to see how you can take, you know, different parts and different elements of designs, and we can make something totally custom. And if you understand the tools in CorelDRAW, we can create some really cool stuff. This is stuff that you would pay for normally to have done for you, but now if you watch through this video a couple of times, you can make any type of wording you want. It is a real popular effect with these athletic tails. So give it a try. Thanks for bearing with me and watching all the way through.